Welcome everyone. Thanks for watching again. It's Steve here with Pure Energy Factor. And today I have Ronnie Landis. Welcome, Ronnie.
How you doing, Steve?
Great. Ronnie is somebody I just got to meet recently at the Best Day Ever conference in San Francisco, and I immediately took a liking to him and was impressed by his speaking ability, and we got to talk a little bit over the phone, and we got to share some ideas that we have a lot in common, and it's just really, I keep meeting awesome person after awesome person. You keep hearing me say that, and so a couple things I want to go through with Ronnie is, one, I want to hear how he got a little bit into raw food. I want to hear what it's done for him, and then I want to also hear what you're doing now, and go ahead and hub your book, your website, your everything, and so basically three things. So first, I just want to ask you, why raw food?
Yeah.
Why nutrition? Carry on, brother.
Why raw food and why nutrition? Wow. Well, about 10 years ago, I first got into diet and nutrition because I was an aspiring professional athlete, actually hoping to make the now 2012 Olympic team for Taekwondo many years ago. And so along that journey, I got into nutrition because we had to make weight classes.
Yeah.
So that's what it first started getting me into it. I had to change what I was eating to really adjust. And then I started getting into the biomechanics of nutrition, how it affects the body towards sports performance. And it just kind of went down the rabbit hole that way. I had 2 serious knee surgeries that I spent time with professional doctors and coaches and rehab specialists for about 7 years. And I was doing good, but I wasn't all the way like I thought I should have been, and I just stumbled onto some information that really tuned me into really raw food and live food nutrition. And at that time when I saw it, it made so much sense to me, where I could hear that message, and I just started playing with it, just piece by piece, and then it just kind of led down that road, and it changed my life. About a month after, I was doing a 5-mile run in the hills, and afterwards I came to this realization, because I wasn't able to run for a while. I was very nervous about it, with my knees, and I came to this realization. I was like, I'm out of pain. And that's when it clicked. I was like, whoa, there's something going on here. I'm totally out of pain, and I felt good, and so I got deeper into studying it. I got deeper into all the live food mentors and people that I resonate with, trying to get the information. And years later, here we are, and it's allowed me to find what I believe is now my true purpose, to be a voice for this message and to just spread it everywhere and anywhere to anyone, that everyone can use this. No matter where you are in your life, everyone can use this, because this is what's natural. When we look at dietary philosophies and ideas, this is the most natural thing. Whether it's 80% raw, 100% raw, whatever. The real issue is that this is the most natural form of fuel for our body, and that idea just keeps kind of percolating in my mind. So to me, that's why raw food. The mystery of nutrition is so interesting to me. How it changes your thoughts. If we are what we think about all day long, then it's very important that we start to gear our thinking process in a way that's conducive to what we want to manifest in the world, right? So I find that through nutrition, my thoughts have changed, especially raw and living foods. My thoughts started to change from the business suit to all the money and the cars and the girls, to how can I actually create a much more sustainable imprint on the planet, and to use my efforts to create a better day for tomorrow.
I mean, I've told him this before, but there's so many similarities between me and him. I'm an athlete too. I play basketball. He's also a basketball player, and I'm good at basketball, but I have a feeling just by talking to him, and I watched him do just a couple moves without a ball, and that he was almost going to try out for pro, that he could probably kick my ass in a one-on-one.
Actually, a week before I had professional tryouts at the Warrior Stadium, I had this massive, this is when I really got into raw foods, and it was a total vortex. It threw me out of everything. I was in a serious relationship. I was a week away from tryouts. I've been preparing for 3 years, just day in, day out, to get to this place. And I think it was, I was going through some kind of cleansing experience, some kind of detox experience, and everything changed. I started like, oh God, I just like started going through some metamorphosis, and I told my coach, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on with me right now, but I can't go through with this right now. Maybe we can revisit it, but right now I have some deep work that needs to be addressed, and I need to do that. And that was kind of like the fork in the road that led me to where we are now.
That's awesome. And my pain went away too from the basketball. I was having arthritis in my ankles and just over acidic diet, and I got to realize what that is now. I didn't know it then, but when I ate raw food, it was like the pain went away, and I was like, oh, so this is what it feels like not to have pain. I feel like I'm like 5 or 10 years old. I remember those days when I just ran.
Jumping around, jumping in the tree. I remember doing all that, being a jungle boy, jumping in the trees, hopping from tree to tree, just without a care in the world.
Right. There's something about raw foods that just bring us back to what we really want in life. And it's the love, and it's and you clearly see in you like the transformation from the women and the suits and the money and now it's just to the more like what can I give the world and contribute, and that's why it resonated with me so much. And also, we were talking about this earlier, that there's so many. There's the raw food people, and there's the people who aren't raw, and some of the raw food people are like, you're not raw, you're doing it wrong. But even in the raw food movement, there's this person says you got to be raw this way, or you got to be raw this way, and both of them agree that we're like doing this experiment, and we learn as we go, right?
I mean, if you really look at it objectively, we've been put in a situation, Brian Clement, at one of his lectures I went to, said something really profound. He said the basic statistic right now where we are in our world is that people that are 35 years and younger have a better chance of dying before their parents do. And the reason for that is because we've been placed in a situation where we have no immune system. The breastfeeding has been replaced by some kind of concoction of soy formula, vaccines, all kinds of depleted uranium, all kinds of pollutants in the atmosphere, pesticides, herbicides, rodenticides, fungicides, insecticides, chemical fertilizers.
He's also a rapper, by the way. I don't know if you guys know about that, but okay.
I mean, the whole show, the antibioticized diet, the meat and cheese-based diet, and just the whole thing. We've been basically raised with that. So what I say is that when we get onto raw foods, it's like what happens is you have this massive cleansing effect because you start breaking down those barriers, and you start getting rid of that kind of corrosive residue. And a lot of people have epiphanies, and they're like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I reversed this kind of disease or condition, and that's the way. And because it worked for me, because it helped me and healed me, that's the way. And it's kind of a human neurosis in the world. Whatever venue or approach you are doing, whether it's diet or the martial arts world, there's a lot of dogma religion. There's a lot of dogma that dominates the thought process, and I feel like that's very ingrained in us, and that has to be cleansed, not just through raw food, but just through our spiritual integration. And raw foods helps break down those walls. But after you break down those walls, there's two people. There's the people that identify with it, and they say, I can see it now. I need to work with it, and I need to face it. Face it in order to erase it. And then there's the other set of people that go through these cleansing effects, and then they see it, but they're like, it's scary. It's scary to see those things, the darker side of it, and they don't want to face it, so they don't do the personal work. And then they create these paradigms and these kind of like dietary zealotries, and they proliferate it into the world.
Okay, so here it is. So you guys can see how awesome this dude is. And that's what I saw in him right away. And these are the people that I'm attracting into my life, more and more of it. And the thing is, I was really impressed by the information and the knowledge that Ronnie has, and he's only 27 years old.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. And my prediction is this guy is up and coming. I'm up and coming. We're all kind of like new to this.
Right.
He's going to be awesome, and he is awesome. The world is going to know, and he's going to affect the world in a big way. And I'm just really grateful that we've crossed paths.
Absolutely, Steve. Pure energy, Steve, man.
Pure energy, brother.
I appreciate that so much.
You got it, brother. Awesome, and then
I would like to, before we step off,
I
want to let everyone know that I did out of this whole journey, it actually produced a work that I've been working on the last 2.5 years, and it's a book that I put out called The Live It Lifestyle, Dropping Diets Forever, and it's a huge compilation of all the dietary philosophies, all the different dietary information, and its core is surrounded by, the core of it is raw food, but then it's really expanding into the pros and the cons, because there are, and then it's really creating this bigger picture of not just what diet are you looking for, but actually how to create a lifestyle that resonates with our desire to uplift the planet, how to do the personal work as you're going through this process of self-identification, and so much more. So that work came out of this whole inspiring journey, and that was released in May. I'm working on the second edition and the audiobook, and now doing tons of I have a tour in the Bay Area, a book and talk tour, and then I'm coming back to LA, and we're gonna see what that looks like.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how can my friends get a hold of you? Okay,
you can get a hold of me, RonnieLandis.com. That's kind of like my blog site, and on Facebook is like the easiest way to get a hold of me right now. You can Ronnie Landis on Facebook, and a lot of people like to talk, do consultations and whatnot. So that's a great way to get a hold of me. And the book, The Live It Lifestyle, is on Amazon now, so people can go there if they're interested.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you again, brother. And just an honor to meet you. And for now, let's just say bye to everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Woo!